I found out my boyfriend gave my laptop to his ex-girlfriend on Christmas Eve. Not Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, the night when everyone's supposed to be cozy and warm and thinking about family and eggnog and terrible Hallmark movies. I was in the middle of wrapping presents in our living room, surrounded by rolls of shimmering red paper and tangled ribbons, when my phone buzzed on the coffee table. The message was from Julian. "Babe, don't freak out. I lost your laptop." I stared at the screen, my brain refusing to process the words. Lost. Your laptop. The Christmas music playing softly from the speaker suddenly felt too loud, too cheerful. I read it again, then a third time. My fingers moved on autopilot. "What do you mean you lost my laptop?" The three dots appeared immediately, like he'd been waiting. Then they vanished, reappeared, vanished again. Finally, his response came through. "Okay, so Sienna needed it for a work thing. My laptop was acting up and you weren't home. I let her borrow it last week and now she can't find it. I'm so sorry." Sienna. His ex-girlfriend. My hands went cold. The roll of wrapping paper slipped off my lap and unraveled across the hardwood floor in a long, glittering streak. Around me, the apartment looked exactly the same. Our modest two-bedroom with the fake Christmas tree in the corner, the string lights we'd hung together just 2 weeks ago, the stockings I'd bought at Target with our names stitched on them in gold thread. Everything looked normal, but nothing felt normal anymore. I typed back slowly, carefully, like I was defusing a bomb. "Your ex borrowed my laptop? When?" The reply came faster this time. "Like 6 days ago. She said she'd have it back by Sunday, but now she's panicking because she thinks she left it somewhere." 6 days? He gave my personal laptop to his ex-girlfriend 6 days ago and only told me now because she lost it? My chest tightened. That wasn't just any laptop. It was my Dell XPS, the one I bought myself after my promotion 3 months ago. It had everything on it. Tax documents, client files from my graphic design freelance work, photos of my late mom that I hadn't backed up yet, passwords, bank statements, my entire digital life. And he just handed it over like it was a library book. I stood up, the wrapping paper crunching under my feet. My hands were shaking. The Christmas lights blinked red and green and gold, casting shadows that suddenly felt wrong, distorted. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw something. Instead, I just stood there in the middle of our living room, staring at the fake tree with its crooked star, and felt something crack open inside me. Julian came home 2 hours later with takeout and an apologetic smile. "Hey," he said, setting the bags on the kitchen counter. "I got your favorite, pad thai, extra peanuts." I was sitting on the couch, my phone in my lap, staring at nothing. "Why didn't you ask me first?" I said quietly. He froze, his hand halfway into the takeout bag. "What?" "Why didn't you ask me before you gave Sienna my laptop?" He exhaled, like I was being unreasonable. "You weren't home, and she really needed it. It was just for a few days. I didn't think it was a big deal." "It's my laptop, Julian. My property. My files." "I know, and I'm sorry." He walked over, sat down beside me, and reached for my hand. I pulled it away. "Look, I'll pay for a new one if she can't find it. I promise." "It's not about the money." "Then what is it about?" I turned to look at him. Really look at him. His dark hair was messy from the winter wind outside. His brown eyes were soft, concerned, but not quite apologetic enough. He looked like someone who thought this was all just a minor inconvenience, something that would blow over by tomorrow.
"It's about the fact that you gave away something that wasn't yours," I said, "and didn't tell me for almost a week." "She was looking for it," he said defensively. "She texted me yesterday saying she thought she left it at her office." "She's trying, Harper." Harper. That's me. Harper Daniels, 27 years old, graphic designer, chronic overthinker, and apparently someone whose boyfriend thought it was totally fine to loan out my personal electronics to his ex without permission. Has she texted me? I asked. Julian blinked. What? Has Sienna texted me, apologized, explained where she last had it? I mean, no, but then how do I know she's actually looking? He stood up, frustrated now. Because I'm telling you she is. Why would she lie? I didn't answer. I just opened my phone, pulled up the tracking app I installed on all my devices after my last laptop got stolen from a coffee shop 2 years ago, and logged in. The map loaded slowly, a spinning circle in the center of the screen. Then it pinged. Last known location, December 22nd, 4:18 p.m., a luxury apartment complex called the Belmont, 23 minutes across town. I turned the screen toward Julian. She didn't lose it, I said. It's been sitting in the same place for 4 days. His face went pale. That has to be a mistake. It's not. Maybe she left it at a friend's place. The Belmont is a residential building, high end. I looked it up. 1 bedrooms start at $2,400 a month. Julian stared at the map, his jaw working like he was trying to find an explanation that didn't exist. Finally, he said, "Okay, I'll text her right now and ask." "No," I said, standing up. "I'll text her." I found Sienna's number in Julian's phone. He left it on the bathroom counter that morning, unlocked, and I didn't even feel guilty about looking. If he was careless enough to hand over my laptop, he was careless enough to leave his phone out. I typed carefully, professionally, like I was emailing a client. "Hi, Sienna. This is Harper, Julian's girlfriend. I need my laptop back by tomorrow. Please let me know when and where I can pick it up." I hit send at 6:47 p.m. By 9 p.m., she still hadn't responded. By 11 p.m., nothing. Julian went to bed early, claiming he had a headache. I stayed up, sitting at the kitchen table, staring at my phone like it was a ticking bomb. The apartment was quiet, except for the hum of the refrigerator and the occasional creak of the building settling. Outside, snow had started falling, soft and silent, blanketing the street in white. At 12:03 a.m., my phone finally buzzed. "I don't have it." That was it. 4 words. No apology, no explanation, no follow-up. I read it 3 times, my pulse hammering in my ears. Then I typed back, "Where did you last have it?" The typing indicator appeared, disappeared, appeared again, then vanished completely. No response. I set my phone down and pressed my palms flat against the cold kitchen cable. My breathing was shallow, uneven. Around me, the Christmas decorations suddenly felt like props in someone else's life. The stockings on the wall, the wreath on the door, the snow falling outside like something from a postcard. None of it felt real anymore.
The next morning, Christmas Day, I woke up to the sound of Julian making coffee in the kitchen. The smell of it drifted into the bedroom, warm and familiar, but it didn't comfort me. I stayed in bed for a long time, staring at the ceiling, listening to him move around. When I finally got up, he was sitting at the table, scrolling through his phone. "Merry Christmas," he said, not looking up. "Did Sienna text you?" I asked. He hesitated. "Yeah." "What did she say?" "She said she thinks she left it at her office. She's going to check today." I walked over and stood in front of him. "She told me she doesn't have it." He looked up, surprised. "What?" "Last night, I texted her. She said, 'I don't have it. That's it.'" Julian set his phone down slowly. "Okay, so maybe she meant she doesn't have it on her, like it's somewhere else? Then why didn't she say that?" "I don't know, Harper. Maybe she was stressed. Maybe she didn't want to get into details over text. Or maybe she's lying." His jaw tightened. "She's not lying." "How do you know?" "Because I know her." The words hung in the air between us. sharp and cold. I stared at him, and for the first time since we started dating 14 months ago, I felt like I was looking at a stranger. You know her, I repeated slowly, but you don't know me well enough to ask before giving away my laptop. He stood up, his chair scraping loudly against the floor. That's not fair, isn't it? I made a mistake, okay? I'm sorry. But I'm not going to sit here and let you turn this into some big conspiracy theory about Sienna. I'm not. You are. He grabbed his coat from the back of the chair. I'm going out. I need some air. Julian! But he was already gone. The door slammed behind him, rattling the picture frames on the wall. One of them, a photo of us from last summer at the lake, tilted slightly to the left. I stood there in the sudden silence, my heart pounding, my hands clenched into fists. The only sound left was the coffee maker beeping in the kitchen, signaling that the pot was full. I spent Christmas Day alone. Julian texted me once around 3 p.m. Staying at my brother's tonight. Need space. I didn't respond. Instead, I opened my laptop tracking app again and stared at the map. The Belmont. Still there. Still pinging. Still sitting in the same location it had been for 4 days. At 5:47 p.m., I made a decision. I called my friend Bria. Bria Carter. We met in college, back when I was still trying to figure out if I wanted to go into marketing or design. She ended up in law school, graduated top of her class, and now worked as a paralegal at a criminal defense firm downtown. If anyone knew what my options were, it was her. She picked up on the second ring. Harper? Hey, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, I said, my voice flat. Okay, what's wrong? I told her everything. Julian giving my laptop to Sienna. The 6-day delay. The tracking data. The I don't have it text. The refusal to explain. When I finished, Bria was quiet for a long moment. Harper, she said finally, her voice careful, do you have proof it's your laptop? Like, serial number? Receipt? Yes. And you have the tracking data showing it's been at the same location? Yes. And you've asked for it back in writing? Twice. Okay. Her voice shifted, becoming sharper, more professional. Here's what you need to know. In this state, if someone refuses to return property valued over $950, that's grand theft. It's a felony. A felony? Yes. And your laptop is what? $1,200? $1,500? $1,400. Then you're well over the threshold. If she's refusing to return it, that's not a misunderstanding. That's theft. My stomach dropped. What do I do? Document everything. Every text, every call, every request. Make it crystal clear. You want it back. If she keeps ignoring you or refuses, you file a police report. And then what? Then the police handle it. They'll make contact. If they find it and she's been hiding it, she's in serious trouble.
What about Julian? I asked quietly. What about him? He gave it to her. Does that matter? Not legally. It's your property. He had no right to loan it out. This is between you and her. I exhaled slowly, my breath shaking. Okay. Harper, Bria said, her voice softer now. I know this sucks, but you need to protect yourself. Don't let them gaslight you into thinking this isn't a big deal. It is. Thanks, Bria. Anytime. And hey, if you need me to look over anything before you file, just send it my way. When I hung up, I sat there for a long time, staring at the dark TV screen. My reflection stared back at me, blurry and distorted in the black glass. Then I opened my messages and typed one more text to Sienna. This is my final request. I need my laptop returned immediately. If I don't hear from you by noon tomorrow, I will file a police report. I hit send at 6:32 p.m. By midnight, she still hadn't responded. The day after Christmas, I woke up to silence. Not the peaceful kind. The kind where you can hear your own heartbeat in your ears, where every creak of the apartment feels amplified, where you realize how alone you actually are. Julian still hadn't come home. I checked my phone. 11:47 a.m. 13 minutes until my deadline with Sienna. I stared at the message thread, willing those 3 dots to appear, willing her to say something, anything. Nothing. At 11:58 a.m., I took a screenshot of every text I'd sent her. Then I grabbed my folder, the one I'd prepared the night before with my laptop's purchase receipt, serial number, and tracking screenshots, and drove to the police station on Maple Street. The parking lot was nearly empty. Christmas decorations still hung from the lampposts, snowflakes and bells swaying in the cold wind. Inside, the station smelled like burnt coffee and cleaning solution. A woman behind the front desk looked up when I walked in. "Can I help you?" "I need to file a report for stolen property." She slid a clipboard across the counter. "Fill this out. Someone will call you back." I sat in one of the plastic chairs, bolted to the floor, and filled out the form with shaking hands. Description of item, value, last known location, known suspect. When I wrote Sienna's name, something in my chest tightened. 12 minutes later, a young officer with a neat bun and sharp eyes called my name. "Harper Daniels?" I stood. "I'm Officer Brennan. Come with me." She led me to a small interview room with white walls and a metal table. A camera blinked red in the corner. She sat across from me and opened a laptop. "All right," she said, fingers hovering over the keyboard. "Walk me through what happened." I told her everything. When I bought the laptop, when Julian gave it to Sienna without asking, the 6-day delay before he told me, the tracking data, the unanswered texts, and the "I don't have it" message. Officer Brennan listened without interrupting. When I finished, she leaned back in her chair. "Do you have proof it's your laptop?" I slid the receipt across the table. "Serial numbers right there." "And the tracking data?" I showed her my phone. She zoomed in on the map, studied the timestamp, then nodded slowly. "Okay. And you've made it clear in writing that you want it back." "Twice." I pulled up the message thread with Sienna and turned the screen toward her. Officer Brennan's expression didn't change, but something flickered in her eyes. "Miss Daniels, I want you to understand something. In this state, theft of property valued over $950 is classified as grand theft. That's a felony." My throat went dry. "I just want my laptop back." "I understand. But once you file this report, it's not just about what you want anymore. It's about the law. If we find evidence she's been hiding it, she'll be charged accordingly." I swallowed hard. "Okay." She typed for a while, then printed out the report and handed it to me. "Read this over, make sure everything's accurate, then sign at the bottom." I read it twice. My name, Sienna's name, the value of the laptop, the word suspect next to her information. When I signed it, my hand was steady. Officer Brennan took the paper, filed it, and stood. "We'll run the address your tracker showed. If it's registered to her, we'll make contact. In the meantime, if she reaches out to you, don't engage beyond documenting what she says. Let us handle it." "Okay," I said quietly. "Thank you." Outside, the sky was gray and heavy with snow. I sat in my car for a long time, hands gripping the steering wheel, staring at nothing. Then my phone rang. "Julian," I answered. "Harper?" His voice was tight, strained. "What did you do?" "What are you talking about?" "Sienna just called me. She said the police showed up at her apartment." My heart stopped. "Already?" "They left a notice on her door. She's freaking out." "Harper, did you actually file a report?" "Yes." Silence. Then, louder, angrier. "Are you serious?"
She refused to give me my laptop back. What was I supposed to do? You were supposed to give her more time. She's looking for it. She's not looking for it, Julian. It's been sitting in her apartment for days. You don't know that. I have tracking data that says exactly that. He made a noise somewhere between a laugh and a groan. Oh my God, do you realize what you've done? Do you know what this could do to her? Do you realize what she did to me? My voice cracked. She stole my laptop. She lied about it. And you're defending her. I'm not defending her. I'm trying to keep this from blowing up into something insane. It already blew up. The second you gave her my laptop without asking. Harper, I'm done, Julian. I'm done with this conversation. I hung up. My hands were shaking so badly I had to set the phone down on the passenger seat. Around me, the parking lot was empty and cold. Snow began to fall again, soft and silent, covering everything in white. 2 days later, Officer Brennan called me. Ms. Daniels, this is Officer Brennan. I have an update. I sat up straighter on the couch. Okay. We ran Sienna Hale's name through the system. She has a prior. A prior? What? A theft charge from 3 years ago. Retail theft at a department store. She took a plea deal, paid a fine, and was supposed to complete community service hours. She didn't. There's been an outstanding warrant for failure to comply since 2022. I couldn't breathe. A warrant? Yes, it's been dormant, but now that we've made contact through your case, it's active again. If she's stopped by police for any reason, she'll be taken into custody. Oh my God. I'm telling you this so you understand the situation. She's not just some person who made a mistake. She has a pattern. I pressed my hand to my forehead. What happens now? We continue investigating your case. We'll attempt to make contact with her directly. In the meantime, if she reaches out to you, document everything. Okay, thank you. When she hung up, I sat there staring at my phone. Sienna had a theft record, an active warrant, and Julian had called me cruel for filing a report. That night, he came home. I was sitting at the kitchen table, eating leftover pasta straight from the container, when I heard his key in the lock. He walked in slowly, cautiously, like he was entering a crime scene. Hey, he said. I didn't look up. Hey. He set his bag down by the door. Can we talk? About what? About this whole situation. I finally looked at him. His eyes were red-rimmed, his hair messy. He looked exhausted.
What's there to talk about? I said. Sienna's terrified. The police contacted her. She thinks she's going to lose her job. She should be terrified. She stole my laptop. She didn't steal it. She borrowed it. And then hid it and lied about it. You don't know that she hid it. I stood up, my chair scraping loudly against the floor. Julian, she has a theft record. She has an active warrant. The police told me. His face went pale. What? She was arrested for retail theft 3 years ago. She never completed her community service. She's had a warrant out since 2022. He stared at me, mouth open like I'd just told him the earth was flat. He shook his head. That's not possible. It is possible. It's a fact. She did. My voice rose. And you're still defending her. I'm not defending her. I'm just trying to understand why you went nuclear over a laptop. It's not about the laptop, I shouted. It's about the fact that you gave away my property without asking, lied to me for 6 days, and then acted like I was crazy for being upset. He flinched. I didn't lie. You didn't tell me. That's the same thing. Harper? No. I grabbed my phone and keys. I'm done with this conversation. Where are you going? Anywhere but here. I walked out, slamming the door behind me. The cold hit me immediately, sharp and biting, but I didn't care. I got in my car and drove aimlessly, tears streaming down my face, the Christmas lights blurring into streaks of color. 3 days later, New Year's Eve, Officer Brennan called again. Ms. Daniels, we have an update on your case. I was at Bria's apartment, sitting on her couch with a mug of tea, watching the news on mute.
I muted my own voice too, stepping into her kitchen. What happened? Sienna Hale was stopped this morning for running a red light. When the officer ran her information, the warrant came up. She was taken into custody. My heart pounded. Is she still? She's at county jail. She'll have a bail hearing tomorrow. As for your laptop, we executed a search warrant at her residence this afternoon. And? We found it. The world tilted. You found it? Yes. It was in her bedroom closet, inside a backpack, covered with clothes and shoes. It was hidden intentionally. I sat down on Bria's kitchen floor, my back against the cabinet. Oh my God. The device is intact. It looks like she attempted a factory reset, but was stopped by a password lock. We're logging it as evidence, but you'll get it back within the week. Thank you, I whispered. Ms. Daniels, I want you to know you did the right thing. She wasn't planning to give it back. When I hung up, I sat there on the cold tile floor, staring at nothing. Bria appeared in the doorway. Harper, you okay? I looked up at her, tears streaming down my face. They found it. It was hidden in her closet. Bria knelt down beside me and pulled me into a hug. I'm so sorry. She lied, I said into her shoulder. She lied the whole time. I know. And Julian believed her. I know. That night, I texted Julian. The police found my laptop. It was hidden in Sienna's closet. She lied to both of us. He read it immediately. The 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally, I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. Harper, I'm so sorry. Are you? He didn't respond. I set my phone down and stared at the TV. On the screen, people in Times Square were counting down to midnight, smiling and cheering and kissing under a sky full of confetti. It felt like I was watching it from another planet. Julian moved out on January 3rd. He came by while I was at work, took his clothes, his books, his half of the furniture. When I got home, the apartment looked hollow. Empty spaces where his things used to be. The couch pushed against the wrong wall. The bookshelf half empty. He left his key on the kitchen counter with a note. I'm sorry it ended like this. I thought I was helping. I was wrong. I crumpled the note and threw it in the trash. That weekend, I went to the police station and picked up my laptop. Officer Brennan handed it to me in a clear evidence bag, along with a case file update. The DA is charging her with felony theft and intent to conceal, she said. She's also being charged for the old warrant. Her bail was set at $8,000. She couldn't post it. So she's still in jail? Yes. I nodded slowly. What happens next? She'll go to trial, or more likely, take a plea deal. Either way, she's facing probation, fines, and restitution. Will I have to testify? Possibly, but most of these cases don't go to trial. I took the laptop, held it in my hands, felt the weight of it. Thank you. For everything. You did this, Officer Brennan said. You stood up for yourself. Don't forget that. 2 weeks later, I signed a lease on a studio apartment across town. It was small, just one room with a kitchenette and a bathroom, but it had tall windows that let in the morning light and a view of the park across the street. It was mine. I moved in on a Saturday. Bria helped me carry boxes up 3 flights of stairs, laughing and complaining about her lack of gym membership. When everything was inside, we sat on the floor and ate pizza straight from the box. How do you feel? She asked. I looked around the empty space. No ghosts, no lies, no one else's mess to clean up. Free, I said. The next day, I set up my laptop on the small desk by the window. I turned it on, logged in, and stared at the familiar home screen. Everything was still there. My files, my photos, my mom's face smiling at me from the desktop background.
I exhaled slowly. Then I opened a new document and started designing again. In March, I got a notification. Sienna had taken a plea deal. Felony theft reduced to a misdemeanor. 2 years probation, $3,200 in fines and restitution, community service. Julian texted me once after that. I heard about the plea deal. I'm glad you got your laptop back. I'm sorry for everything. I didn't respond. Some apologies come too late. Some people choose the wrong side and don't realize it until the damage is done. Julian wasn't a bad person. He was just a weak one. And I didn't have space in my life for that anymore. By April, spring had arrived. The trees outside my window started budding, the park filled with people again, and I landed my biggest freelance client yet, a rebrand for a local startup that paid more than I made in 3 months at my old job. One evening, I sat by the window with a cup of tea, watching the sun set over the park. My phone buzzed. A message from Bria. "Drinks tonight? I have news." I smiled. "See you at 7. I stood, stretched, and looked around my small apartment. My space. My life. My rules. The laptop sat on my desk, closed and silent. I didn't think about Sienna anymore. I didn't think about Julian. I thought about what came next, and for the first time in months, I was excited to find out.